block it out is what I was taught when I was a kid, and then someone phrased something to me a certain way, and to where it's accept it and move on, like accept it as a reality. Because like if I said, Dave, there's an alligator behind you, block it out. Like you'd be holy, there's an alligator behind. Like,
but I believe the great is still yet to come. I won't stop fighting, man, until I'm done.
Hey, welcome to the Breakfast Ball. My name is Bob Cardia. I am your host. This is our 17th episode, right?
17 and a half.
17 and a half, yes. Because my phone rang halfway through it. We're starting over. Anyway.
Take two.
Yes, take a few minutes. Anyway, to my left, my far left, and your far right, the dashing Richie Stoltz. And in the middle, what's dashing? It's DMG. Wow. Do we have an act? No, it's just DMG. Okay. Down with DMG. Down. Yeah, you know me. Okay, anyway. So today's the 17th episode, and today is Stop Worrying About What Others Think, which is a topic I love. Originally, we were supposed to have Jeff Collins from Dogleg Golf, which is in Cinnaminson. It's a indoor simulator facility for golf that we're going to be doing some programs there going down the road. Wonderful facility. Looking forward to working with Jeff. Unfortunately, his father was ill today, so he could not make it out. And in all honesty, my life has been chaos for the past week as well. If believer in prayer, so if you could send a few prayers out to my mother who had a stroke this past week, that would be much appreciated. She is now in a rehab center and doing a little bit better, so that is good. Anyway, welcome. So we're going to be talking. By the way, I don't. A couple things. If you like what we're doing, by all means, please subscribe. And two, we're hosting April 1st through 5th, right?
Yep.
A junior event from 9 a.m. to 11. It's like a golf camp all week during the spring break week. So, and that's at Dogleg. It's an indoor facility. So, if you want more details, you can go on SouthJerseyGolfSchools.com. I think Dogleg also has it on their website as well. But please, by all means, if you could spread the word and if you can show up, that would be wonderful. All we ask is when your children are rich and famous,
we get 10%.
Thank you. Yes, we get 10%.
We get 10%.
Yes, we do. Okay. Anyway, so let's start off. It's cool. Richie and I were talking this morning at some length about the high school players we coach, because we coach a lot of high school players. Mm-hmm. And I think every single one of the high school players we coach, and there's at least 15, 20 of them that I know of off the top of my head, all made their high school teams.
I think they all made the team.
Yeah.
I know we got a little nervous that a couple didn't, but then I
the
saw them.
Yeah.
I saw them. All freshmen though. Yeah. But I did see him the other day at the range, and I was let's go, let's go,
let's go for sure. And that one team had 51.
I was going to say there were some big teams out there. There was Kingsway. Was it 51 kids in total or 51 guys?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was
51. Was it 51 guys?
Wow. I think so.
That's insane.
That's a cray number.
Yeah. I think so, because they still have a whole practice squad out on the side.
Yeah.
Like 20, 30 kids out there almost.
So the kids that made it
it's crazy.
Are in our league too, right? Our league and our take. Yeah. We have a junior golf league that starts in May. They put our league and we teach them, which I mean, Richie and talk. It's a good feeling, right? And David too. We've been doing it longer, so I'm sorry. But it's.
I had some high school golfers.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Yeah. And David was in high school at one point. And so was I, as a matter of fact, at one point back at the.
Wait, really?
Yeah, we had sundials, we had abacuses. It was great. It was fantastic. All right, enough of that. Anyway, so. Looks like everybody we've coached made the team, which that's a great feeling. So, shout out to all our kids that made the team, which is wonderful. So anyway, in the process, I'll just call him Michael A, because I don't know. I just tapped the microphone. Sorry about that. Michael A. We'll use full names to protect the innocent, but he plays for a very good high school team, private school, and last year he was on the cusp of making the starting lineup. Didn't quite make it, but he played some matches here and there. So he's been working on it. He comes out first day of tryouts, shoots even par, right? Let's go. Okay, now you got the coach's attention, all happy about it, and Michael was just thrilled, and as was I, because I teach him. He comes in, and I guess for the next lesson I see him, he's again very excited, doing well. But one of the players that he played against, Michael made when you make a 4 or 5 shot improvement from year to year, the player was like, well, there's no way he's really doing that. He must be cheating. And I actually took that as a positive. And he's, of course, got to know me, I'm crazy. Hey, why is that a positive? Well, to me, that means you just got into someone else's head, right? Yeah. And I always say in golf, and this is, I believe this 1,000%. You've arrived at the highest level of golf when you are completely target aware and not self-aware. If you're still focusing on mechanics or what someone else does, or like Nicklaus said, Nicklaus doesn't play golf against other people. He plays golf against a golf course designer, right? Not worried about what other people are doing. And I think that is great advice. So anyway, I'm gonna bring this quote to Michael when I see him, but it's you spend most of your life in your own head. Might as well make that a nice place to be, right? So, I love that, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, because the second you start, again, another really good friend of mine. God, she thinks things. Actually, I got a lot of friends that overthink, but they actually, she has a sign that says, "Give me a minute to overthink this."
Yeah.
Yeah. Not good. Again, we're the Ready, Fire, Aim group, right? So we see, we do, and that's how we move forward. Anyway, shout out to JoJo. JoJo, because I'm sure he'll be watching. She's one of our
Bear.
Yeah, JoJo the Dancing Bear. He's one of our editors, and I always call him JoJo the Dancing Bear. I give everybody a nickname just so you know, as obviously as I'm doing here. JoJo sent me a quote last night. What's that? Because I do a lot of shorts on Friday mornings, and he sent me a quote. So I wanted to give him recognition for it. It's from Boston Scott, the Giant Killer, who. Honestly, from New York, I've got Chinese season tickets, so to read these Eagle quotes kills me. But I love the quotes, so here we go. Stop comparing yourself. The battle is between you and you. Which, that's where the battle lies. That's the Confucius quote that we did, Mastering Yourself. That's where it's at if you want to get to the next level of championship golf. Or life, for that matter, because we are, golf pros, but we're also life coaches.
It's throw that in there.
Mentality coaches.
Fatality?
Mentality.
Oh,
mentality.
Not fatality.
We haven't had someone off themselves yet. But, we're going to call David the Dr. Kevorkian of golf instructors. People are just dying to see him. Okay. Wow. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to tell one story first about mental fortitude on a golf course or lack thereof, and then I'm going to turn it over to these two guys. But I forget. I read it. I think in a Bob Rotella book. It's like 1930 something. Paul Runyon was playing against Sam Snead in the PGA Championship, and the PGA Championship at that point was match play. And for those of you who don't know what match play is, stroke play is if David shot 71, Richie shot 70, and I shot 72, Richie wins because he has the lowest number.
Naturally.
What's that?
What?
Naturally.
Yeah.
I shot 64. Okay, anyway.
Front nine or back nine?
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Okay, the podcast is ending right now. Folks.
I'm just kidding.
I know. All right. So anyway, with that said, match play is if I got a 5 in a hole, David got a 5 in a hole. I'm sorry, Dave got a 4 on a hole, and Richie got an 11 on the hole. David would win that hole. Dave Beck's a bitch. Yes, David would win the hole, so he'd be 1 hole up. That's how match play works. So anyway, Paul Runyon was a slight guy, not very big. Didn't hit the ball all that far, and he's playing against Sam Snead, slamming Sammy Snead, who was the best player of his era, and it was match play. So I always tell people, like they say that Snead hit the ball almost 70 yards further off the tee than Runyon did. So can you imagine you're sitting in a fairway and the guy in front of you is like 70 yards ahead of you, and like, wow, like that would seem to be almost insurmountable. Just so you know, Runyon, I believe, is still in the Guinness Book of World Records for shooting under his age the most amount of times. The guy was a short game, like regarded, actually, if you read about him, regarded as the greatest short game player that ever lived. So I always said, well, who do you think won? And everyone's like, well, naturally, you say Snead because he hit the ball, he's the best player, and yada yada. No, Runyon beat Snead, and as the story goes, it took him 10 holes to do it, meaning he won every one of the holes. So at that point, like, how the flip did that happen, right? So as the story goes, Runyon either pitched in, chipped in, or one putted on every hole, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. So apparently, after he did it a few times, Snead started to get upset, like, lucky this, lucky that, and then like after it happened several times, Snead apparently got visibly upset. The way the story was relayed to me, like it really got into his head that this guy who hit the ball nowhere just kept knocking the ball in the hole, knocking the ball, knocking the hole. So at that point, Snead, best player of that era, is completely spooked by this little guy who keeps knocking the ball in the hole. So I had the pleasure in, let's say 1989, 90, to be at the PGA National, somewhere in there anyway. Would have been earlier than that. But guess who ended up being one of my instructors for the week? Paul Runyon.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. So Runyon was a very traditional, matter-of-fact kind of guy. And I think the people in the group were a little bit intimidated because he's a legend, right? Mm. So I asked, I said, Mr. Runyon, I'm like, how did you get so good at the short game? And Runyon said, well, I used to hit golf balls for 1 or 2 hours a day after work. And we're all like, oh, yeah, that's how you do it. That's how it is. He goes, no. He goes, then I chip and putt for another 4. I'm okay. That's,
wow.
To have that kind of free time is great. Yeah. But, yeah. But that's... So anyway.
I could do that if Bob didn't make me work all
I
the
know,
time.
right? Get back to work. Anyway, with that said, yeah, to know that someone could get in the greatest player in the world's head of the time, I think says a lot about, how strong you have to be mentally to live, for one, in life, and for golf in another way. So anyway, David, you said you had a very similar story about like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind sharing that story, that'd be great.
So when I was younger, getting into golf, I don't know, 10 years old, like still a kid.
2-3 years old.
What do all the kids say when you come to the range and they start hitting balls? They want to hit the driver. They want that ball to go far.
Uh-huh. They care about 2 things. They want to hit the guy in the golf cart, and they want the ball to go far.
The golf cart thing. They'll start screaming over that. They love that.
I do the same thing.
Yes, you do.
But yeah, similar story. But yeah, so when I was little, I always thought I got to hit the ball further. That's my issue. That's why I'm not getting pars. I need to hit the ball further. And then I played with my uncle, who's a shorter guy, not very muscular, but he's all right. And he was playing a guy who was much, much taller than him, probably 6'3", 6'4". Guy was big. And just same thing, bombing the ball, and I'm in the cart just kind of watching them play. And you're right, by hole 9, and the match is like still about tied, the guy's like, what the heck is going on? Like, I can chip, I can putt the same way,
right,
and nothing's falling or nothing's close enough inside that 10-foot range,
yeah,
where there's never a chance.
Yep.
Bells,
yeah.
So yeah, and I've played a lot of high school golf too. People start comparing themselves mid-round. Like, if they think they should be up and they're not, you can feel that energy in the air.
I lost a high school match that way. It's actually one of my darker moments. I turned to the guy I'm playing with, my teammate. I'm like, this kid actually thinks he's gonna win, because I like in every fiber of my being, I knew I was better than this kid, and I ended up losing the match because I started thinking about that.
I think that's happened to everybody for sure.
I remember it, and it's like 30 years ago.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen that firsthand, how people kind of comparing themselves can just destroy their mental game.
It's a life metaphor too, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're at the job and something like that, how come so and so got the promotion? I got another story. I got a million stories, as we know, but that's very Runyon-esque. Very good. So you had a story too, right?
Yeah. So first thing you mentioned how, you've always felt like you had to hit the ball further. Mm-hmm. I did something the other day, and I told you about it. I was on TrackMan, and I was just curious. When I play in tournaments, sometimes my driver gets me in a little bit of trouble. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to find one of the longest golf courses and one of the most difficult golf courses on TrackMan.
Okay.
And I'm going to go play this course, but I'm not going to hit any woods under any circumstances. So all I had off the tee was a 4-iron. All I can do for my second shot was a 4-iron. What'd I shoot?
Couple over.
1 over.
Nice.
I was like, man,
It's an easy
like I
game.
don't have to hit the ball that
I know.
far. Like it's, that's like I always think like big misconception in golf. I think distance does do you a huge favor. But
it does.
that was just crazy to me. I'm like, man, I was able to do this with just a 4-iron.
But the thing is, with you, Richie, you're long to begin with.
Yeah, but
So,
but I played from 7,300
Yeah,
yards.
no, I get it,
Most people
I
are
get it.
playing from 6,300 yards.
I get it. Well,
So-
and if you can, if your other parts of your game are sharp,
Whoa.
you can do that.
What was the sharp part of my game that day?
Wedges.
It was my wedges.
Yeah.
It was my
Yeah.
wedges. It was,
Well, it should be.
around the
We're working on
greens.
it enough.
But
Thank you,
anyway,
Dave Wells. All right.
back to the story. So I was going to tell the story about my dad, how he always used to try and get in my head.
Mhm.
But I was also going to mention, not always do you have somebody else trying to get in your head,
Mhm.
but something else like weather conditions.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to bring up the conference championship.
No, that's the one.
a couple years.
That's
Oh, you were going to tell it?
Oh yeah.
Do you want to tell it or do you want me to tell it?
I
I can tell my dad.
Yeah, I'll tell the conference championship story.
I'll tell my
because
dad.
I love that story. You
Okay.
tell your dad.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
The tiger.
my dad, and yeah, almost like Tiger Woods, my dad, and this was with every sport that I played, baseball, golf, football, anything. Baseball specifically, I would be pitching.
Mhm.
And he'd be sitting there in the stands and yell, "You can't strike this guy out."
Yeah.
Or I'd be batting. I'd be sitting there in the batter's box. "This guy's going to strike you out."
I'm sure the other parents love your father. Yeah.
And
As a typhus on speed dial. Yeah.
And then in golf, I'd be sitting there ready to tee off, say on the first hole, and he would throw his whole bag on the ground or start rattling golf clubs. Or there was even times where he'd throw a tee at me mid-swing. Or he'd be talking to the players in the group, right behind me, and they'd say, "Shh," he's about to tee off. And he would just go, "Oh, no, he's fine. He hits with me talking all the time and blah, 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 blah." And, that
I
was
could
always...
see his dad doing this too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I can. Oh.
And I could see Richie just ignoring him.
Yeah,
vividly, yeah.
that was always tough, especially at first, learning how to deal with that, because there was no stopping him from doing that. If you told him not to do it, he would do it more.
Yeah.
So you learned really quick, okay, just don't say anything to him about it. Just, try and block it out. And then
Don't feed the animals.
yeah, exactly. But we talked about you don't really, block it out, you accept it and move on from it. And I guess that's more of what I did is, I hear him talking in my backswing to these guys. I hear him say, "Oh, he's going to hit anyway. He's fine." I hear all that. I can't ignore it like he said,
No.
but it's blocking that out
Yeah.
and then going. Same thing if someone were to try and get in your head, in any other sport.
Yeah.
Accept it, block it out, and then move on.
Yeah, accept it. That's what I always use was accept it, because the example Dave and I were talking before DMG and I were talking before the show was like I block it out is what I was taught when I was a kid, and then someone phrased something to me a certain way, and to where it's accept it and move on, like accept it as a reality, because like if I said, "Dave, there's an alligator behind you," block it out, like you'd be holy. There's an alligator behind, whether it was true or not true, like you're instantly thinking that way.
Yeah.
Or I could say, "Hey, guys, red, red, red. Don't think about the color red." And like for a brief instant, you'll be thinking about the color red.
Well,
So-
yeah, because you're wearing red.
I
It's
know,
hard not to
right?
think
I
of
know.
it.
and
When I'm looking this direction,
I
Looked
know.
up. I was like,
You got
Yes.
Rutgers red. You got
I got a
Coca-Cola
Rutgers
can.
meeting today at 10:30 and 11. So yes, I'm wearing Rutgers red today. But so the conference championship story, I love that story. Were you on the team at that point? I don't even know.
He was not. David was not on that
I'm
team.
a youngin.
Youngin, yeah.
You came in the year after.
We had lost to Penn State the last 3 times we had played them. And the conference championship, they won the bid, was at their home golf course. So the week before, my guys were like, "Coach, can we get a practice round up there?" So I called the golf course up there, and we traveled out to Penn State. And I'm notorious, or I don't know, infamous, that we play in bad weather. Because I can tell you 3 conference championships that we played in, that the weather you would never play in, like you wouldn't play in it. So that we're playing the week before at this golf course, and the wind is blowing at like 35, 40 miles an hour. we finally quit on the 16th hole because the ball, literally, I've only seen this a handful of times in my life. The balls are blowing off the green, like they come the rest. It was just like finally we said screw it, we're just left. But we played 16 holes in some of the most ridiculous wind. Well, guess what? We go back the next weekend, and the weather is the exact same.
The first day the weather was brutal.
Brutal. It was blowing sideways, and I walked by the Penn State team hitting balls on the range. And one of their kids was saying to another kid, and that's their coach, they can't make us play in this, coach. We never play in this kind of weather. This is ridiculous. And the bylaws for the conference said unless there was the golf course was closed or the players were in any kind of danger, you play. So we played in snow. We played in it. So we got out there, and that Penn State team, had beaten us every time we played them that year. And at the end of the first round, I think we were up by 17 strokes.
Was it 20?
20.
Or no, 19.
19, yeah.
19.
And we never looked back. We ended up going to the NCAA finals that year. Yeah. And that was a great year.
Yeah, they were all defeated. So we won by 19 after the first day.
Yeah.
And then I think the second day we, kind of kept telling ourselves, let's keep the pressure on and not even give them a chance. We won by 20 the next day.
Yeah. Because at that point they were so far
shots.
behind, they were playing a deficit. That's So that's another great story. Dan Drazen, he's a lawyer now. Love Danny, great guy. He's a ball a ton. But we were on the bus once for a conference championship, and we're driving. And, I usually sit in front of the bus and do my own thing. And I heard him saying to the guys on the team, guys, all you got to do to win the conference, because it was against us and Penn State again, is you got to beat the guy you're playing against. If everybody in the group beats the guy you're playing against, we win. And I said, Danny, I love you, but I think that's totally the wrong way to look at things. And he said, what do you mean? So you mean to say if I'm playing, David's playing for Penn State, and the guy from Penn State twists his ankle and limps and shoots a 107, you'd be happy shooting a 105? No, that's not. In life, right? You don't want to be, competing against this guy. You want to do what Matthew McConaughey said, be your own hero, or what Michael Jordan said. You want to beat the best version of you. And that's life too. Basketball, hockey, golf, business. You don't want to compete with the people around you. You want to be the best version of yourself and get better every day. And that's the way I look at it. Do you guys look at it any differently? I don't.
No, I had that same thing in high school where it was always, when we played Haddonfield. I hate Haddonfield. But sorry if there's any Haddonfield guys watching.
I got dinner there last night, actually. I took myself up for sushi. They were nice to me there.
But, no, whenever we played Haddonfield, that was the mindset was, just beat the guy you're playing against. And to your point, sure, I can beat the guy I'm playing against, but if one of the other guys shoots 100 and my guy shoots 99, it's is that really, if they're able to shoot a 80, now we're really ahead.
Yeah.
Instead of them playing against the guy that they're playing with, play against the golf course, play against yourself, try and, do the best you can do.
Ultimately, at the conference that we play in, there's typically one team has one superstar who goes really low, and the rest of the team is just they if they can shoot close to a 75, that's usually the formula for winning. So, my star players, with you and Patty, Kevin, Zach, Q, all go down the line. If they went super low, that's what don't just beat the guy you're playing with. I mean, the lowest you can go, the more you're going to help, because you have no idea what if one of our guys twists his ankle.
Yeah. I remember we when we won the conference that year, it was me who won it, and then the kid from Penn State Berks I think came in second, and then it was Sean Sigel, Sean Hughes. Yeah. So it was 3 of our guys in the top 4 spots.
Yeah.
We weren't playing against the guys we were playing with. We were, I remember Sean Hughes said to me, he goes, I'm going to beat you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Going into the second. He didn't care about the guy he was playing with for Penn State Berks. He was like, I'm winning this thing.
Yeah.
We were all playing against, we were
to
trying
win the tournament. As an individual, you had to win. Yeah.
And to me specifically, I looked at that, I was like, let's go, Sean.
Yeah.
Beat me tomorrow. You beat me tomorrow. We win this thing.
Yeah.
We go to nationals if you beat me. Let's go.
Yeah. No, and this year's team actually, I think I told the story, unfortunately, our 5th player on a roster, we typically carry close to 10 to 15 players, but we brought in a fifth player, and thoughts and prayers to him too.
Yeah.
Did I tell this story on?
No, we
don't
skipped
think
it.
on the pod.
We skipped it.
Oh.
Yeah, you said, should I tell the story? I said, we'll keep
Yeah,
it.
well,
for now.
okay. So it's heads up to anybody if you're walking in the city. I
Was insane.
no right. So one of our players was walking in the city over a month ago now, and those big subway grates that they put over that sometimes like the homeless sleep on for heat and whatnot. I guess someone didn't replace one, and it was nighttime, and our five guy actually stepped in it and fell 30 feet, ruptured spleen, broken jaw. So he's out for the season. But it's yeah. I always say I've seen everything. The thoughts and prayers out there
Yeah.
to him also for sure. But God, I don't even know how I got on that topic. But I guess this year's team. This year's team, like our top four guys. It's 5 count 4 in college golf, by the way. So you play your 5 best guys, you get 4 best scores. We still have a chance because all of our guys when they play well, like what Sonny shot 72 and tryouts and Pierce shot 71 the other day. Like if all 4 guys play well, we got a shot. We do.
Yeah.
So in the 5 spot, the 5 guys are all aspiring, working hard, but we'll see how it goes. But anyway, it's going to stay. I think that you just made me think if they could try to focus on beating each other, being the best versions of themselves they can be, that would be huge.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things our team had when I was there.
Yeah.
Was we just, there was so much competition. It was everyone was trying to play each other. Like the in-practice matches we had going on all the time.
Yeah.
Because we were all just,
Yep.
Sigel would try and beat me. He'd walk in that day and I'm beating you today. It's like, all right, let's see what you got. Corey, same thing. Me and Corey would, always go back and forth with each other. And, it was obviously we had a great, friendship between us all. But it was very competitive just within the team there. It was always, those top 5 guys, I'm beating you today. No, I'm beating you today. There was a lot of competition there. And it was nice. We were always trying to...
That's great. I love the competition.
Yeah.
The only time I think competition ever gets is comfort. And it gets back to the mental, don't worry about what other people think. A lot of times in teams, we have teams of 15 players, and there's only 5 or 6 really good players. Those 5 or 6 players want to play with each other all the time, to compete with each other. But then they become really comfortable playing with just those guys.
Yeah.
So I always shuffle the deck. Remember Kevin Anderson always said, well, I want to play with the guys, the best guys. I know you want to play with everybody.
Yeah.
Like, and if we have a guy, like I always bring in a project or 2 every year. If you have a guy who's shooting 92, and say, well, I don't play with that guy, he's not very good. I'm like, no, because the thing about golf is you never know who you're going to play against.
Yeah.
So I want you to play with a person that is not, or is way better than you, or not nearly as good as you, or you don't like, And not every team, everybody likes each other. But like, I like to put somebody with somebody who they don't get along, because guess what? That makes you mentally tougher.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's my thoughts. Did you guys have anything, on mental toughness you wanted to throw in there? I think we covered a whole gamut of good stuff.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I wandered in the weeds there for a little bit.
I was going to throw in on comparing yourself to people, just how bad that, like Instagram and all these social media things.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's all that's the whole point of it, is to just compare yourself and look at what other people are
Do you
doing.
use a lot of social media or no?
I got off Instagram because that was a bad one for me.
Yeah.
Like checking like the times on your phone,
Right.
that one was taking so much time. It was ridiculous.
Can you imagine the number of people that are watching this comparing themselves to us?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
it's like-
Well, YouTube though, I love YouTube. I'm a big YouTube guy.
right.
Good luck if you're comparing
I
yourself.
wish
to
I
us.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to do
There's
that.
people out there going, I wish I wore a red shirt today. No, that's just not true, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it, right there. Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
That's the generation we're in. I think kids should, less social media for sure. I mean, that TikTok and scrolling through. If you're spending hours a day on social media, you need to get off.
Unless it's hours a day watching The Breakfast Club.
Right, but
Yeah,
we're only on
YouTube's
for like a
a-
half hour at a time, so
But we do have previous episodes for you
we
to go.
do, and it's
go
shorts.
watch.
Man, we have hundreds
Yeah,
of those.
I mean,
right?
you can spend hours on our
Scroll
podcast.
Right, I know. We have all kinds.
I'm just
you know
saying.
what? Just stay on
That's-
YouTube. Just stay on YouTube.
Delete the other one.
Right, yeah. That other
You
stuff.
don't need the others.
Yeah. So bad. All right. Anyway, thank you for tuning in today to the Breakfast Ball. Bob Cardia.
Dashing Richie Stoltz.
DMG.
Down with DMG. Yeah. And online stores, South Jersey Golf School, and the Breakfast Ball if you want to purchase some of our attire. And again, subscribe if you like. And April 1st through 5th at the Dogleg Golf Center. If you have any kids interested in taking a week-long, 2 hours a day course during spring break week, would love to have you.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Everybody's doing it. Make you feel good. I need therapy. Okay, anyway, guys, have a great day. Catch you soon.
Thank you.
Glass of bourbon, ha ha. My bourbon, ha ha. My bourbon, ha ha. Alcohol. Because no great story ever started with, I'll have a salad.